is happening, people? Scarface Personal here, and welcome back to another one of these live Spurs transfer update. This time, we've got a lot to discuss, so do stay tuned to the very end. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It's free to do so. It does help the channel grow. That'd be massively appreciated. But let's crack straight into it, because today we're going to be discussing transfers like Emerson, Richarlison potentially going out the door, but also striker update with Veliz leaving on loan, Solanke, Tony. There's been a lot that's happened in the last 24 hours. So here to get my thoughts and also what is exactly happening. I want to kick it off with Veliz, because that's the first thing we have confirmed. And Espanyol have confirmed the loan signing of Veliz on loan for the 2024-25 season. We did hear the day before about potential move to Southampton. That looks like it wasn't true, or it didn't go ahead. I think that Southampton, for him, would have made more sense getting Premier League minutes. Ultimately, he ends to aim up, ends to aim with Spurs. But I still think this move over into a La Liga side makes sense. He gets first team football. He's a culture and language that he's used to. But a lot of people say, oh, is he another Brian Gill? It would be unfair for me to comment on that. We haven't seen enough of Veliz. But it's a running theme, isn't it? We bring in these young players, send them out on loan. So we've failed to do in recent years. We haven't loaned players and we should have. So maybe that is a promising sign, but I'll be very, very keen to see how he gets on at Espanyol, to be honest with you. I think that'd be really, really interesting. But hopefully he does get first team minutes. Southampton would have made sense, but whether he would have started many games or not, I don't know, whereas I think he will at Espanyol. So big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to you, who's the first one in. So big up. Do get involved in the comments below. Anyone else as well. But yeah, do wish Veliz all the best. So that's the first story that has happened yesterday. But I want to move on and solely focus on the incoming. So firstly, Solanke, because we've got the news from Gary Jacob yesterday that's been reported, which is Tottenham's Solanke deal would be funded by Richarlison's expected exit after Al Ittihad indicated an interest. Richarlison's appeared to change his mind about moving abroad and now open to do so. I don't know. I don't understand this, to be honest with you, because, we have like 23 players once Emerson departs, and assuming Lo Celso departs as well, that's 22. We should be waiting for player sales already this window. We've saved 30 million on player wages already just this window. That's a huge amount. We've still got that. We've got Harry Kane money, and we have this what's called game-changing stadium, which brings in a lot of money from non-footballing events. I've been to a lot myself, Pink, etc. And I have a lot of friends go to Beyonce. That brings in money for the stadium. We should be worried about about funding, if you like, be able to we should go into the season with two strong strikers competing. I've said it before, 55, 60 million, and above offer for Richarlison, and I think we have to accept it, because I don't think we get it anywhere else apart from Saudi Arabia. But apart from that, Solanke should still go ahead if Richarlison stays at the club. We keep both unless a good offer comes in for Richarlison. It shouldn't be one or the other. It should be use one to fund the other. We've got the money to do so. And we're not going to close the gap to the best teams in the league or around the world if you view things like that. We have the money, we can spend it with FFP. New stadium creates money. We were told it's a game changer. We've always spent money. It's whether Spurs recruit right, and over the years, I would say often not. So I think that's where the owners, the chairman, you have to show a bit more ambition and go, look. To be honest with you, at the moment, this team isn't good enough to get in top four. It wasn't last season. It's the same team this year. Other teams like West Ham, Aston Villa have improved in and around us. So we're not going to go higher up in the league if you look at it like that from a factual point of view. But as I said, only 23 players once Emerson departs. I mean, a bit worried about that. It's got a bit quiet. But hopefully we do get him out the door. Nothing against Emerson, but I don't think he's a player that we need or want when we want to go to the next level realistically. So I think we keep both strikers. Very keen to get your thoughts. So do let me know your thinking in the comments below. Barney says, let's hope Solanke gets sorted. There's a massive amount of cash. So for me, buying players, Spurs should have no worries. I think Spurs should keep both. Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's also the thing. I think FFP, it doesn't affect Tottenham. It doesn't. It's factual. It doesn't. We can spend close to $500 million, just under, I think, without even touching FFP. And the money's there. As I said before, we're coming in a new stadium, and then we pay the highest season ticket prices. So we pay a lot of money. We should see money being spent in returns. That's frustrating. I don't think we have to worry about funding. We're still one of the richest clubs in the world that saved 30 million on wages, but we don't help ourselves. Like Archie Gray's paid the same amount on wage, gross per week, as Bentancur, Doggy and Vicario. That isn't right, surely, for an 18-year-old that's just come in. we don't help us. Oh, Spurs have got no money, but we throw 40 million at a midfielder when we've already got a compact midfielder, and we throw 75 grand at him a week. I don't think it's necessary. Davies is on 80 grand, I found that one, because Werner's on like 175 grand a week. So wages we haven't been clever at, really. But we have brought them down by 30 million this year. There should be no worry about that in terms of saving money. We've got the money, and that's the frustrating thing. And we have to show ambition with it. That's the next level. We're a stable club under the owners, but we have to show more ambition now. Roddy says Richarlison stays, Solanke or Tony don't come in, Richie goes, we get one of Solanke or Tony. This is what the club's doing. Exactly, but I don't think that's right. I don't know what you think, Robbie, but I don't think that that's right at all. I think that our front line should have been the priority coming into the window, but we're splashing the cash in midfield and we're continually linked with defenders. I wouldn't have a problem with not signing a defender. Yes, I think we need full back cover, but I'd rather us focus on the forward line, which realistically isn't, it's not scary for any other top 16. We go to the Etihad, we go to Anfield, we go to St James's Park, the Emirates. They're not going to be scared of Johnson, Werner and Richarlison. They will be scared of James Maddison. That's the difference. So they'll be a bit more scared if Solanke and Neto come in. But I wanted to talk about Lange and Paratici and who's better, because under Paratici, I think the recruitment and incomings were a lot better. We really struggled to get players out the door, and I think the youth academy was abandoned. Whether you put it down to Paratici or not, I think that it didn't help. We had managers like Mourinho before Paratici, but Conte in particular, who didn't give the youth a look in and just wanted to win now. That's their priority. But Paratici, we didn't get players out the door. It was solely focused on getting players in. Lange is the opposite. Done very, very well getting players out the door. When it comes to incomings, it's not really good enough. This year, I would say top 4 is a minimum requirement. I don't think that that's being entitled or being ridiculous. I think that the aim is to get back where we belong in that Champions League position. But we can't do that. We can't compete for trophies. If I'm Daniel leaving the owners, I'm going, what can we do to get back in the top 4, then eventually compete for trophies? So this year, progress into the latter stages of competitions. And I'm afraid, let Richarlison go and bring Solanke in isn't going to be that. And I'm someone who's for Solanke, by the way. I'm very keen to bring Solanke in, very keen to bring Neto in. But we have to have 2 strong strikers. We have to show that little bit of ambition. At the moment, I think it's profit over people, whereas it should be club first at the moment. Club first, brand second. That's the difference. I want to focus on a post from Ben Jacobs this morning that said Tottenham now have concrete interest in signing striker Ivan Toney. I thought that we'd left that. I thought that we'd moved on from Ivan Toney. But is the link seem to come back? Concrete interest on a player. I think Solanke's perfect to be focused on the player profile, if you like, the caliber of player who's going to get you. I think at least 25 goals a season, every season. So, well, he is aging a bit, but I think let's say next season we brought him in, he'd still get those goals he consistently produced. But I don't think he's the right outfit. I don't think he's the right fit, if you like, for an Ange Postecoglou team. Based on his mentality, I think he's the best. I don't think it suits Ange Postecoglou. But I did say that about Jed Spence, but he could have gone away and improved. But Toney, I just don't think is the right fit. Nobody, I don't think, questions whether he's got it as a player or he's good enough for Tottenham. Nobody's questioning that. It's whether he's the right fit for Ange Postecoglou, because Ange talks a lot about the mentality. A lot of it is the mentality, the attitude in the dressing room, the discipline. Toney, I don't think, brings you any of that. But Ben Jacobs also went on to say that there's been no movement or talk whatsoever for Solanke. So there's several twists for Spurs. But all I know is that, Leicester game is coming up thick and fast in less than a week and a half's time. We have to bring these players in because, newly promoted side away, it is worrying. We're leaking goals for fun. Defenders are starting to come back. But last season, a big problem for us was we couldn't get the second goal when we went on to drop points, sometimes more than 2 points. We went on to drop all 3 and lose the game. Wolves away, a prime example where we done that. 1-0 up, and in added time, we throw it away completely. So, guys, get involved in the comments below what you think. Rinkek says, hi, all big up. Rishi knows the system. He does, but I've got to look at it. Is he going to stay fit? I think Solanke's definitely an upgrade. Maybe not in terms of what Richarlison can produce, but Solanke's going to stay fit. And he's going to get you, I think, 20-plus goals a season, which Richarlison just doesn't guarantee you. But you can probably keep both. There's no reason why we shouldn't. Barney says, for me, I agree, Ronnie. It has to be between Toney and Solanke for me. I'll be all out for Solanke Spurs to start making inroads now. And yes, Harry, ambition is key for Spurs. It is. And we haven't won a trophy since 2008. We have to change that. And by replacing like-for-like players isn't going to do that. Or the way I look at it is it's not necessarily like-for-like players. Maybe that's the wrong saying, but it's, we won't bring this player in unless we sell this player. And we're hearing Levy's priority this window was to get players out the door. Fine, I think we had an overload squad, but we've done that. So now bring players in. There's no excuse. We've got the money to do so. Before a cap comes in, I'm convinced there's already seeing it on player wages with this new structure around the Premier League that players are earning less. I think eventually we see a new model where all clubs can't spend over a certain amount. A bit like F1, there's a spending cap for everyone in a window, if you like, or for them in a season, in the summer when they improve. So we've got to spend the money while we can do so. And I think Neto would be perfect, can play left wing, right wing. I don't think Eze is going to happen for 1 minute. It'd be catastrophic for Palace if they let Anderson, Gay, Elise and Eze all leave in the window. I don't know what the thinking behind that would be. But I think it'd be crazy to sell Richarlison unless a good offer comes in. If you get it from any other club apart from Saudi, I think we're looking at 20, 25 million. But if it's 50 and above, absolutely take it, because I don't think we're going to get it elsewhere. Rinketic says, I mean, it's stupid to sell Richarlison against Solanke and even the guy we've been waiting for who knows the system. I'd like Tony, I just don't think he's an Ange player. And, fans have also got to be careful, I suppose, with Solanke. If Ange wants Solanke as his first choice, absolutely fine. So it's getting that balance. But there's been a lot of transfer news with Spurs, but this is the most reliable stuff that we've said so far from Ben Jacobs, from Fabrizio Romano that we've discussed so far in today's lives. Emerson does worry me. It's gone a bit quiet. I think bring 15, 16 million euros in, bring him out. Get him out if you like. But I just think that we're going to end up with about 22 players. It'd be 23 once Emerson departs. So Celso could depart as well. Why are we worrying about player sales now? We've done that. Now focus on bringing players in. In an ideal world, it's never going to happen. But you have Fabio Paratici for players in recruitment and your players out Lange. And that would be a perfect kind of model, if you like. We have the AMD as sporting director, but I still think Levy's heavily involved. And I just think if you fast forward, we were signing players for the future, great, but they're not really getting chances. I look at Dane Scarlett. An example is Arteta with Arsenal. I don't like them and I don't like him. But Nketiah, gives him 5-6 games starts and comes to the conclusion he's not good enough. Harsh decision because Arsenal want to win the league. They want to be ambitious. Harsh decision, out the door. Smith Rowe can't guarantee you first football. Out you go. But instead, we keep players like Scarlett and Celso for several years. We never come to the conclusion whether, one, they're good enough, two, whether we can guarantee them minutes or not. That's the thing. And we overpay for players at times. We've done it with Moussa Sissoko in the past and Dombele. I mean, it flashed up on my feed that today, what was it, 5 years ago, I think, 2019, we signed Lo Celso. On this day, we signed Lo Celso and Ryan Sessegnon, 2 players. One already we made a loss on. We were going to make a loss on Lo Celso. It was the same window we signed Dombele. So some of our recruitment has been catastrophic. I don't agree with the no funding. I don't know if that's journalists trying to stir something up, but I don't believe it. I'd be very surprised. But it doesn't surprise me coming from Daniel Levy, but it shouldn't be the case. That's the thing. So I think it'll be a busy week and a busy window. In particular, incomings. I think most of our outgoings have gone, apart from Emerson, or if we bring in another midfielder. But I just don't, and I'm happy we signed Archie Gray, but why are we spending 40 million on a midfielder and then moaning there's, or potentially hearing there's no funding for their attack? The priority in the window had to be that front line. And of course, getting players out the door, I respect that from a business point of view. But why spend the money on midfield first and give Archie Gray the same amount as senior first team players? I just don't understand it. I think we've got an overloaded midfield. I don't know. I'm trying to remain positive. I hope that Solanke comes in, but Ange made it clear at the start of the window he wants his players brought in for pre-season to work with them. That hasn't happened. I get it with players in the Euros. I get it why having Tony wouldn't happen. I get it why all these players wouldn't happen. I don't understand Solanke though. I don't understand that. It's really odd to me. But do get involved in the comments, guys, before we wrap up for today. We have a cap space in football. It's called FFP, but Premier League gives. I'm aware. But we're fine with FFP, Rinketic. We're fine because of the new stadium. And I was one of those people, a bit younger at the time, I suppose, but behind the idea of moving to the new stadium to bring in money to be able to reinvest in the first team and sign players. And I thought that's the way that we can bring trophies back to White Hart Lane, or what should have been called the new White Hart Lane. It's just ridiculous. And if it is true that we're worried about funding, then I won't have that. when we had, like 1.52 billion offer for naming rights to like Google and that, Amazon, that was turned down, and we're paying players stupid wages, but we're paying Van der Ven hardly anything. But we're paying players like Werner, Gray, far too much money. Far too much. It's baffling. Even Maddison, 170k a week. What's he done? Honestly, what has he done in the Spurs shirt, apart from that first spell, that first half of his first season last season? So I'd be interested to see how the rest of the transfer window unfolds. I think Solanke is a scandal that will drag on. It shouldn't drag on, because we've got the season up and coming, but I think we know that it will. So yeah, just scrolling through X if there's any other updates, but that is the main core today. That Ivan Toney news came to me as a bit of a shock. I don't see it happening. I don't think that it would be the right thing to do. It's just several twists. I think Spurs are unpredictable at the best of the times. So transfer window, absolutely crazy, but we just need to bring that striker in at this point. It's taking far too long. Dean Jones, who's a senior transfer correspondent for Give Me Sports, says Bournemouth are not expected to agree a lowball offer for Tottenham Hotspur target, Dominic Solanke, therefore meaning the transfer cycle could drag on for some time yet, even the rest of the window. Great, absolutely great. It's exactly what we want to hear. That's not good. And Tom Barkley is reporting that Tottenham are growing in confidence that they will land Bournemouth striker Dominic Solanke. So you're hearing different things from different sources. I think we need to keep quiet until we see it from Alistair Gold, Paul O'Keefe, Fabrizio Romano. But Solanke enjoyed his best season last season. Let's be clear here. His best Premier League campaign, notched up 19 goals and 3 assists. Some people say, no, he's not going to get you guaranteed goals. He will. Those numbers are very, very good. There's no worry about that. No worry at all. Alex Crook of TalkSport reported this morning, it's been a busy morning already, saying that Tottenham are ready to step up their interest in Ivan Toney, but Toney's made it clear that he's not willing to sign a new contract at Brentford. Obviously favours us, and Spurs also have Solanke as a target, but Toney, they could look at him for being cheaper. I'd like Toney, but I just don't see it working under Ange. I just do not see it working. I'd love to be proved wrong. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Will Ivan Toney work? Would you want to see him at Spurs? That's kind of the latest news that we've seen this morning. But we go into the window with this team, and I do think it finishes 5th or 6th. I don't think that's me being negative. We have to improve. This is a chunk of the window to come, but you have to get business done early. Especially when a manager wants it to happen. And I think that, of course, it's not as easy as that. It's easy for me to sit here and say, get business done early. When Solanke, a player that didn't go to the Euros, it should be, you would have thought, easier, and we shifted players out the window. So far this window, outgoing's a massive tick. Well done. I'm very happy with that, but we haven't brought the players in. Great, Archie Gray for the future, but I don't know why I spent 40 million. I don't know why. But we'll have to see how the rest of the window unfolds. But just to recap, Veliz leaves on loan again for the rest of the window. Solanke seems very keen on the Tottenham move, but no movement as of yet. Richarlison is expected to depart, certainly more than last window, with Saudi very, very keen. And the Emerson talks have gone very, very quiet, and so have Celso. In particular, Emerson, that's very worrying. But I think that kind of wraps us up nicely for today. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It's free to do so. Helps the channel and the podcast grow. We'll be doing more of these transfer lives, keeping you all up to date from reliable sources, and just discussing, giving my thoughts. I'm very keen to get your thoughts. Buying Barney's spot on. It's a no-brainer. It really is, especially buying a striker. There's no issue. The money's there, and like with Isak, why can't we join the conversation? I'm not saying sign Isak, but join the conversation. Trade players if you have to. You just have to show ambition, because trajectory, we're not going to improve in the next few years. We've got all this young talent in 5-6 years' time, which would be useful. But for all we know, we could be struggling to be in a relegation battle by then. We're excluding now. Ange Postecoglou wants to win now. But thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and a massive come on you Spurs.
Working as a manager at Celtic Park when we met you. We picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You've turned us into something new. Ange, Postecoglou. You know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. Ange, Postecoglou. We're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, he looks so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh.